Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here for day one of our DUI virtual trade show. Up next is Jay Dornheggen. He is again our account manager that's covers all of the Midwest. So Jay, before you start your actual presentation, can you just introduce yourself and just say a little bit about your territory and what you do, or what your, I guess, what excites you about diving, and then go ahead and start your presentation. So Jay,
Absolutely.
up to you.
Absolutely. So again, my name is Jay Dornheggen. Good afternoon, everybody. I am currently the regional account representative for Diving Unlimited International. As you guys know, I cover the Midwest territory. So I cover roughly about 23 states, mostly around the Great Lakes, all the way down to Louisiana, Texas, and then kind of just on the way up. So pretty much pretty much the Midwest. So cover a pretty large territory, supporting everybody, the divers, dealers, and everything they can do to help keep them warm. To answer your question, what got me involved in diving, or what I love about diving? Everything. I love taking my camera. I'm an instructor myself, so I love to teach. Open water is actually one of my more favorite classes to teach, but I love teaching the foundation skills and teaching everybody to breathe underwater. And really, for me, it's about being underwater the entire time. I love being under there. I love the reefs. I love the aquatic environment and the sensation it feels. So coming to work for DUI it's definitely a dream come true, so to speak, in the sense that I'm fortunate enough to actually work in the industry that I actually do adore and love to do. So I love being a part of the diving community. I love being a part of diving and DUI University, or in DUI Diving Unlimited International. So anything, I'm an open book. If you have any questions, just let me know. Anything else you wanted me to cover?
What is your email address so people can contact you?
JAY@DUI-online.com.
Thanks, Jay. Or you can always call us here and then we can redirect.
You can always call us here too.
So go ahead and you can start with your premium dry suit presentation.
All right, let's see here if I know how to work a computer. All right, share screen. Did that work?
Yes, you're sharing the screen.
Perfect. And the dry suit presentation is coming up, I think. And everybody can see my presentation?
Yes, they can all see it.
Okay, excellent. So, all right, so today we're going to talk about our premium dry suits. We're going to go over quite a few dry suits. Our premium dry suits are what DUI is known for. We do have other products that other account managers will go over at a later time. Choosing the right dry suit, that's really the key that comes down to what you're doing. And it really comes down to what kind of diving are you doing. Anytime I talk to a diver, and one of probably the most common questions I get is, what dry suit do I need? Well, that's a loaded question because it depends on what kind of diving you're doing. We have different dry suits that have different advantages, and have different specifications and features that really can do what you want to do. So it's really all about you. Our dry suits and our premium dry suits are really all about you and what kind of diving are you doing? How cold are the water diving? Are you doing wreck diving, cave diving? Are you an instructor? As Dan said in the intro, we cover recreational, military, public safety, and we cover divers that dive in all different types of elements. So really, there isn't the best dry suit out there as far as DUI and our premium suits. It's really about which one of our dry suits fits you the best. So we're going to go through a couple of the different advantages and disadvantages. Well, not really disadvantages of our dry suits, but what they offer and what are the benefits of having a DUI dry suit. So the first thing is I know we're talking about profiling your customers for your dealers and identifying needs. Really, for when you walk into a dive shop, I'm hoping the dive shops are really kind of profiling, trying to figure out what you are or how you dive. In regards to the divers yourselves, do some self-evaluation. What kind of diving are you doing? What's the majority of the dives that are you doing? And also, with the cost of the investment of a DUI dry suit, where do you want to go? So that is also something else to consider. Where are you now? What's your forte? What do you like to do? And then where are you going to go? So throughout this presentation, we're going to be talking about different types of elements, fit, cold water, where do you want to go? Really kind of just understanding yourself and understanding the different questions that go along with purchasing a dry suit. One of the questions that comes up is, what's the coldest water you're going to dive in? Our custom dry suits, when we get into measuring a little bit, we size those dry suits to fit the maximum insulation you're going to be wearing. So for example, if you're out here in Southern California, I'm okay in a 300-gram suit. It's our dual therm 300 is rated from, it's 45 to 65 degree water, but that's going to be a lot, or it's going to be a little bit thinner than a 450. But I can pretty much guarantee you, I am not diving in 32 to 40 degree water. So, those are kind of the things that we kind of want to take a look at. We want to take a look at the fit, and just different types of elements. Where do you want to go? Do you have any bucket list destinations? So choosing the perfect suit, we're going to talk today about premium suits. I'll talk a little bit about signature or select, but I'll probably go into more of that really when it comes into more of the measuring. Doug will be going over some more of our stock suits later in the day. So I'm going to probably skip over those. So premium versus select suits and signatures. What's the difference between our signature and our select suits? Our signature is a 20-point measurement that we actually are building for you. Our dealers are measuring you. They take you through the order forms. They measure your head, neck, waist, your chest, waist, hips, all the way down to your knee measurement. We go over 20 different types of measurements and then build that suit based off of your parameters. What I mean by that is, after we got those measurements, are we going to size it for 450? Our 450 is designed to keep you warm in, say, 45 to 65 degree water. The 300, anywhere from 45 to 65. I'm sorry, I misspoke there. The 450 is designed to keep you from, say, 30 degree water up to 45. The 300 is 45 to 65 degree water, which is mostly what I dive. We can size the suit based on that insulation to help take some of that bulk out. If you want to choose the 450, that's great. But what the difference between a signature and a select suit or select sizing is, does the suit fit you perfectly or fit you very well? When we talk about going into our select suits, it's still a made to order suit, but we're actually building that off of a medium pattern, a large pattern. We have talls and shorts. So it's still, we'll go over that a little bit later, but for the most part, it's just a difference between how we're actually building the suit. Options that are included: color, overlay, boot size, boot style, turbo boot, rock boot. Do you want an ultraflex boot? What type of seals do you want? Silicone, latex. If you want attached seals, we can still do attached seals. Do you want pockets? What kind of pockets? Even whether it's a signature or select, they're still made to order suits. So we are building that suit from scratch here in the US, here in San Diego. They're all hand sewn, aqua sealed. We're building those suits directly for you, how you ask us to do it. So there are 15 standard sizes for men, 18 for women. Once you select your size, I'm kind of feel like I'm being a little repetitive here, but you can choose the color and overlay. Dan spoke a little bit about the design your own dry suit. That's a great tool to use, where you can choose from all of our different colors, all of our different overlay styles, and kind of get an idea of what it's actually going to look like. You can choose your boot. Some people like turbo boots. Some people like rock boots. A good example would be, I dive in San Diego. I like the rock boot because it's got a stronger sole, and I feel like I've got a little bit more durability in the boot when I'm walking across the parking lot to get to the ocean. Some people like turbo boots. Turbo boots are great on boats because they grip the boat and they're not as thick and bulky. So it really just kind of comes down to what kind of diving you're doing and what your forte is. Seals, including silicone seals versus zip. There are pros and cons to both. Silicones are a little bit softer, more a little more puncture resistant, or not less puncture resistant. However, they stand up during the ozone layers, and they stand up to sunlight a little bit better than the latex does. But latex are more durable. So those are kind of the options that you can choose from. And it really just kind of comes down to the environment and what kind of diving you're doing. That's going to be kind of a repetitive theme for me as I go through this presentation, is that it's really is all about you. We are building this dry suit for you. Some people like cargo pockets. Some people like zipper pockets, especially got people who dive with gloves. They like the sensation that they know when they zip that pocket closed, it's actually closed. It just kind of gives them that warm, fuzzy feeling. So it really, the one question that I get asked a lot is what's best for me, or what's the best out there. And there really isn't a best out there. It's all about you. One pocket isn't better than the other pocket. Zipper pocket versus a Velcro or a cargo pocket, it's just a different configuration, whatever you're most comfortable with. And anybody who's a diver, you all know this, you need to be comfortable when you're diving and you're under the water. You need to be comfortable with your gear and what works for you. So that's really what we're about, customizing this dry suit to fit you and to fit your needs. So now we're going to kind of get into more of the 3 or 4 different types of dry suits that we have. The tri-laminate dry suit, this is a TLS 350. This is going to be probably one of our more popular suits, that and the Flex. One of the reasons why is it's our lightest weight suit, and it's also the one that dries the quickest. Okay, so it's a very flexible, it's very easy to swim in. Myself as an instructor like it because it's lightweight. I don't feel like it's really heavy when I'm walking around and working with students during surface intervals. And it dries quickly. So if you're in the water in and out, it dries very, very quickly. So I know I've got a bullet point here. Special forces use it. Rescue swimmers use this suit. The reason they like this suit is because it does give you flexibility. When I started talking about in my intro, like pros and cons, that's exactly kind of like what we're talking about here. The TLS 350 is not going to be as bulletproof and as puncture resistant as the CF 200. However, it's going to dry faster. It's going to be a lot more flexible, and you're going to be able to move around with it. Photographers, they like having that lightweight flexibility within the suit. All of our suits do come with a 7-year warranty on the seams. That does not include the zipper. That does not include the zip seals, but it's all on the seams. And all of our seams are aqua sealed, which allows the suit to have some stretch. So when you're donning or taking off your suit, the aqua seal on those seams give it a little bit of a stretch, which is why we can offer that 7-year warranty on those suits. It tends to hold up a little bit better than the other suits out there that are taped. But it is a very flexible suit, and it is very abrasion friendly, not abrasion friendly, abrasion resistant. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being, our CF 200, the TLS 350 is about an 8.5. So it's still a very durable suit. I own 2 of them. This is probably my favorite suit just because I like the lightweight and I like how quickly it dries. And I like the fact that I can actually move underwater. So, again, pros and cons, but, this is a very lightweight suit. Moving on, sports package, deluxe packages, Tech 1, Tech 2. We kind of broke this down into different packages. And again, you can custom build and add the dimensions that you want. You just have to let us know. We do have some basic packages, which is what you're looking at. First, sport package, you can choose 1 pocket, CF 200 knee pads. If you don't want knee pads and you just want to choose another pocket, you are more than welcome to do that. So that would just be 2 pockets. The picture you're looking at right now, she is in a women's TLS 350 and she has a deluxe package. You'll notice how she's got 2 pockets, right and left. She has CF 200 knee pads. You can also get that in Armid knee pads as well. They come in 2 different lengths, 13.5 or 17. And there's pros and cons to the different knee pads as well. With the CF 200 knee pads, it does give you a little bit more padding to it. It's a little more puncture resistant. The Armid knee pads tend to give you a little more grip if you're kneeling up on a boat, but there isn't a whole lot of a pad there. It's really there to help kind of grip. So both are very durable, both protect the base of the suit, and it's just a matter of what kind of diving do you do? What kind of environment are you in? The Tech 1 package includes a P-valve and a crotch pad, along with the Tech 2. The Tech 2, the biggest difference between the two is which type of P-valve you want. We carry two different types of P-valves, the OMS P-valve and the Light Monkey P-valve. So it really just kind of depends on which one you want. It just comes down to how you want to configure it. So we do offer crotch pads as well, both the CF200. So as you can see, these are kind of broken down to help you in packages to help you on price point. But at the same time, you can do the solid card and you can add it, and we can build pretty much any suit that you want in any type of configuration. So the second suit is going to be the Flex Extreme. This is probably a very popular suit among recreational divers and instructors. It is a tri-laminate suit. By the way, all of our premium suits are tri-laminates. It comes with telescoping torso with the front entry suit. What that does is that allows you to don the suit, get in and out of it much easier. This is a polyester. It's not the nylon base. It's a polyester based tri-laminate, which gives it a little bit more puncture resistance. What does this mean? Remember, going back to the scale from 1 to 10, TLS 350 is an 8.5. The Flex is going to be closer to a 9. It's a little more puncture resistant, but once you get a little bit more puncture resistant, you lose a little bit of the flexibility and the dexterity that comes with the suit. It's still a very durable suit. It's still a very lightweight suit, which is why you see a lot of it within the recreational world. A lot of instructors like it. Even people who do some, wreck diving. This is probably a little bit of a better suit than the TLS 350 for wreck diving, just in case you accidentally brush up against a sharp object for whatever reason. So this is our Flex Extreme. Comes with the inlet valve and exhaust valve, zip seals. This is shown with rock boots, by the way, guys. This is the preferred boot that I like. Pros and cons to having a boot installed in the suit. Right here, you're looking at the rock boot sock option, which means there is a sock that is sewn and glued onto the suit, and then you need to bring an additional set of rock boots with you and carry it. So it's probably got the strongest sole that we have. So if you're doing, well, like us in San Diego, if I've got a rock across the parking lot, I want the strongest sole I could possibly get, because I will feel that pebble if I step on it. So the third suit in the market is going to be the CLX 450. The CLX 450 is going to be our most durable tri-laminate suit. This is a Kedora base up at the top, polyester on the bottom. It works just like the other two suits. The biggest difference between this suit is really coming down to durability. Kedora is like a new pair of jeans. It's stiff at the beginning, but it does tend to break down. It is a much heavier suit. So it does take a little bit of time to break in the Kedora, but people love their CLX 450. This is designed, and really the people who kind of steer towards the CLX 450 are going to be more your wreck divers, guys that are penetrating into wrecks, doing some cave diving, doing more of a tech configuration. People who are a little bit more harder on their suits than, say, the normal recreational diver. So this is the CLX 450. It's a great suit. Again, all of these suits that I've just kind of mentioned, you have all of those configurations that Dan kind of spoke with the order forms. You have the option of the pockets. You have the option of going full signature, select. So it's all about kind of finding what you do and configuring the suit to fit your expectations of what you want to do. The next one that probably DUI is most known for is going to be the CF200. I chose this slide because it was actually a failed experiment, but it actually worked out very well for DUI and the history of DUI. What you're looking at in those pictures is how we crush the neoprene suit. In the last slide of the presentation, I'll give you a little bit more of a demonstration, but we actually crush our own material to make the CF200. Okay, I lied. It's not the last slide. It's the second one. So the crushed neoprene is used for the CF200, is located up there on the top. The second is compressed neoprene. Notice the difference between the crushed neoprene, the compressed neoprene, and the wetsuit. The biggest difference is the crushed neoprene right there. We take it all the way down. We take all the air out. All of our suits are neutrally buoyant, including the CF200. There is a slight warmth factor to the DUI, to the CF200, but it's minimal. I would probably argue there's none, but I will tell you, I've also talked to divers out there that swear up and down there is. So, you know, I think it's minimal. I think everybody's threshold to temperature is different. But the suit is a very durable suit. The crushed neoprene is a very heavy suit. And it seems to be, you know, the Cadillac of DUI suits. I see these suits coming in, you know, they've had a lot of work done to them, but everybody here at DUI has seen that CF200 come in that's 10, 15 years old, and maybe even older than that every now and then, where these suits just last for a long time. They need repairs, they need maintenance. You know, sometimes they'll need zipper replacements over the life of the suits. We do repairs on the suits and so forth, but these suits do last a very long time. Who dives the CF200? I'm going to back up one quick, or who dives the CF200? Really, this has a lot to do with cave divers who are doing really long dives, people who are doing wreck dives and pushing themselves and doing, you know, going farther in. Obviously, you need a lot of training to do that, but these guys are kind of going into some extreme elements and they're looking for a suit that's going to hold up. Here is the disadvantage, if there is one, to the CF200 suit compared to the fabric suits. And that has to do with two things. One, it takes a long time for the CF200 to dry. It can take 48 to 72 hours to completely dry. So for anybody who's planning on diving in the Arctic or very extreme cold waters, this probably isn't the best suit. In that fact, actually the TLS 350 is the best suit for that, for diving up in the Arctic in the really cold waters, because the suit dries quickly. If you were diving in Antarctica and you were diving the CF200, your suit would most likely freeze overnight because they didn't have the ability to completely dry out, and then the water will actually freeze over. So, you know, again, you know, kind of like what I talked about at the beginning, when you're looking at all three suits or all four suits of our premium suit, it really comes down to all about you. It's what kind of diving are you doing? What are you doing most? Where do you want to go? These suits are an investment. So, you know, you kind of want to have a 5-year plan if you're planning on going through a progression of classes, or you have a bucket list. If your bucket list is Greenland, Iceland, Antarctica, you know, the CF200 might not be the best choice for you. If you're getting into rebreather and you're doing longer cave dives and you're going down, and you're doing some deeper wreck penetrations and tech, then, you know, the CF200 might be the best choice for you. When choosing the premium suit or choosing any one of our suits, it's all about you. It's all about fitting you and complementing the type of diving that you're actually doing. All right, so the CF200, this is Dick Long, right in front of the Yukon. It's a pretty famous wreck dive out here in San Diego, and that is him actually wearing the CF200. A lot of people, we get phone calls throughout the day. I want the suit Dick Long wears. I want Dick Long's suit. This is what they're referring to. They're actually referring to the CF200. The dry suit fabric is a patent crushed neoprene, 3 millimeters. It's a heavy duty nylon crushed shell. It comes with CF200 knee pads, but it's a very tough, very flexible material. The one additional note I could probably say about the CF200, it is a very form-fitting suit. And because it is crushed neoprene, it does have a little bit of a stretch to it. So you can get a little bit more of a snug fit, but still have some flexibility because the material actually stretches a little bit. Unlike our fabric suits, nylon doesn't stretch. Polyester doesn't stretch. Cordura, there's no stretch element to it. With the CF200, due to the nature of the material, there is a slight stretch to it, which allows you to get a little bit more of a form-fitting suit, and it just dives a little differently. So it's still a very heavy suit, still got some stretch to it, but it is considered the Cadillac suit. It's considered the Dick Long suit. And we see these suits coming in for years, 10, 15 years. So granted, keep in mind, that's also how you treat your suit though, too. So it's not always about years. It's also about sometimes how many dives you have on it, how many zipper pulls you have on it, and how you're kind of treating the suit too. All of those factors kind of take into effect how long these suits are going to last. But other than that, I'm not going to go too much into this. I am just going to quickly mention it and just give a quick little introduction to Doug Graham as he goes through later today. He's going to go through some of the stock suits that we actually have. And
I
what
mean,
the benefits
standard
are.
suits.
Standard suits. Yeah, sorry. Some of the standard suits that we have. I'll let him talk about more about that, but really the biggest thing here is going to be price difference and some of the configurations there, but I'm going to let him tackle this for you guys. So with that said, just to go over what's our overall goal: keep you warm, keep you comfortable. You can dive year round. Some of my Midwest dealers, they love the dry suits because that extends their dive season a little bit more. A lot of my customers in the Midwest, some of them do ice diving. So it's really about extending your season, better buoyancy control, having a suit that actually fits you correctly, and fits you very well. I mean, these suits are built for you. So our premium suits, whether it's a select suit or a signature suit, it's all about you and how it fits. And that's going to give you better buoyancy control. That's going to extend your bottom time. That's going to extend your dive season. And most importantly, which is what we do here at DUI, is we keep you warm. Thermal insulation. We want to keep you warm so you're able to dive and do what you need to do. With that said, I kind of went through that relatively quickly. Are there any questions? Jack, are we open to questions?
Yep, we're open to questions.
Okay.
So just to reemphasize that these suits are custom made for the individual, not just in sizing, but also in design.
Yeah.
Using that tool that Dan had showed earlier, it's really a personalization thing. And as a side note, I would love it if people started tagging, or what people do, more tagging of yourself in a DUI dry suit, and tag it with the hashtag DiveDUI. We'd love to see those photos, because everyone keeps making these very unique suits, and they're diving in awesome locations, and they get some awesome photos. We'd love to see them. So also with the premium suits, Jay, is there, I know we have some new design elements that have been introduced the past few years. Can you go over those?
So some of the new design features, one of the probably the coolest things is we can actually change out the thread color. So if you ordered, you know what? Can I switch to a live view? How do I do that?
Dan has to run out there.
Okay. So yeah, so one of the things that we can do is change the different thread color. So if you wanted, we've got a suit here that's in a display that allows us to look at a TLS 350. It is a tri-laminate dog patterns. It's got purple. It's part of our elite pattern. It has purple piping, but it also has purple stitching. It makes for a really cool suit. And I think we're going to switch over to Dan here.
Jay, can you stop sharing your screen first?
Yeah. There we go. Are we up?
Yep.
Sort of. My screen's still locked on the DUI.
No, that's fine. You're fine.
Okay, so here's a couple of features that we're actually able to go through. You'll notice the pocket overlay is purple. We can do that as far as accessorizing. The stitching is purple or fuchsia. I'm not sure exactly what color that is, but it's not black. So you'll notice it kind of gives it a cool little accent to it. Even the seams on the telescoping torso. What you're looking at right now is a TLS 350. It is got dog paws. It's the elite pattern. The difference between the elite pattern and the pro pattern is that the elite pattern stops here at the shoulder and has highlighted piping, versus the pro pattern, which actually goes down the sleeves to the cuff. If you look towards the right real quick, this is a Flex Extreme, and you will notice the pattern coming straight down the side. That's going to be the pro pattern. With the pro pattern.
So the pro stripes that we've had?
The pro stripe, but yeah.
Yep. So we have the 2 stripes. We now offer 3 stripes with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can mix and match the colors. And we've added a couple of new colors this year.
Yes, and I believe one of those colors, correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, is blue, like baby blue.
No, it's royal blue, just like your
Blue?
shirt.
Okay.
And then we also have a charcoal color.
Okay.
And so you can actually mix and match those colors. So if you have a favorite sports team, or you want to like do red, white, and blue, or country colors, you can.
Yep.
So another question that we had was about zip seals. Do you have to get the suits with zip seals, and can you use, or what are your options as far as seals go?
We have latex, we have silicone. We also have attached seals. So if you wanted your seals attached, which a lot of people do, a lot of wreck divers and cave divers, they like having their seals glued on. We can also do that as well. We don't glue on silicone, do we? No, we only glue on latex seals. So you've got the choices between zip seals of silicone, latex. We have heavy duty latex, which is just a thicker latex seal, still on a zip seal, but you can also have the latex seals glued on. We have gloves. We can attach gloves, whether it's max dexterity or heavy duty. We can glue on and attach those, and they also comes along with zip seals as well.
So our zip seals, what are the benefits of having zip seals?
The benefit of having zip seals is being able to change out a seal on the dive site or when you get home, and so forth. So if you wake up in the morning, and I'll use myself as an example. Let's say I'm teaching a class and I get up at 4:30 to get down to the shores to teach a class. I don my suit and I somehow accidentally put a hole or a tear in one of my zip seals. Instead of canceling the class and going back home, I can actually change out a seal right then and there at the dive site and finish my class, finish my dive. If I'm going out for fun, I don't have to call the dive. I can just swap out that seal right there. Soapy water, I carry it in my trunk, just spray it down, cut it up in my Save a Dive kit, and just snap the seal back on. So that's the biggest advantage. If you have them glued on, usually have to go to a dive shop and have it repaired or sent in to us. And that could take 3 to 4 weeks, depending on whatever the time frame, whether it's the dive shop or us that we're working on, you're kind of handicapped on when you can dive again. So the advantage of having zip seals or zip gloves is being able to change it out right then and there and save your dive.
The other question I have is about, well, I guess this is another zip seal question or seal question, has to do with latex allergies.
Switch to silicone, and I believe we're working on, but I don't have an ETA on any other type of neck seal for the G2. We do have 2 types of neck seals, the G1 and the G2. The G2 is only available in latex. If you have a latex allergy, I would highly recommend silicone. Guys, what I'm about to tell you is my personal forte. I like silicone. They last longer for me being out here in San Diego with the dry weather and the sun, and they just kind of last a little bit longer for me. So I kind of lean towards the silicone. But again, you talk to any diver, they're going to tell you latex is better, silicone's better, this is better. We all kind of have our little particulars, but if you do have a latex allergy, we can give you silicone seals, both neck and wrist.
I have a question about the knee pad material.
Okay.
What's the difference between the two?
I don't have a knee pad up here. The CF200 is the crushed neoprene. Okay, so that's going to have a little bit more of a pad to it. It's a little bit more puncture resistant from what I understand. However, there is a little bit of a pad, but it's got a smooth surface to it. The Armid, which is got more of a grip to it, looks more like sandpaper is probably a bad analogy because I don't want that sandpaper to look, because it sounds that's not attractive. But the Kevlar pad gives you more grip. So let's say, for example, if you were kneeling on a boat, you're on a dive boat, some of those surfaces or the deck can be very slippery. The Kevlar knee pad is going to give you a little bit more grip when you're kneeling down. However, there isn't as much pad there. So hopefully you've got some padding on your insulation. Otherwise, your knees may take a beating. But, there's pros and cons to either one. CF200, more pad, a little more puncture resistant. The Kevlar is going to give you more grip, so you don't slide around on like a dive boat or a dive deck. And then Jack, if you wanted to add anything on that, on your opinion, you're more than welcome to jump in.
No, I've seen the CF200 knee pad definitely last longer than the. Oh,
Here is a hot water suit. It's used in the commercial world. So
use the camera that's remote, Jay.
Yeah, we're getting there.
No, I'm just saying you're talking to the wrong screen.
Oh,
There you
sorry.
go. It's all right.
So this is going to be the Kevlar knee pad. As you can see, it doesn't feel like sandpaper, but you can kind of see where it's got a little bit of it's got a little bit of texture to it, which allows you to grip. So if you were like I said again, not to keep repeating myself, if you're kneeling on a dive boat or on a deck, you're not going to slide down as much if that deck is wet, because this is going to grip a little bit more.
And I guess point out that it's made with Kevlar fiber. This is not like a bulletproof vest.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid using the word Kevlar, but
yeah, well, we call it aramid fiber on our order forms, just so everyone knows. That is, aramid fiber is the type of fiber that is branded by the Cordura brand, or I mean Kevlar brand.
mhm.
Let's see. So going back to the thermal properties on the CF200,
Mhm.
did you say there was an advantage thermal?
So from what I understand, there is, according to the science, when they first designed it, there is about a 3 to 4, 5
6, I
degree
think.
temperature difference. I say this hesitantly because everybody's threshold for temperature varies. Some people get very cold at 65-degree water. Some people are a little bit more comfortable. I guess it depends on kind of natural insulation, this or that. But people just genetically just have different thresholds. So some people, I'll tell them there's about 4 to 5 degree temperature difference or warmth factor within CF200. I'll talk to a handful of divers that swear up and down that's not true. They're freezing after an hour and a half. I talked to other divers that's one of the reasons why they want to buy the suit, because they get cold and they can feel the difference between the warmth. They actually like that extra 4 to 5 degrees in temperature. So it's scientifically, yes, there is a 4 to 5 degree temperature difference between the suit. Whether you as an individual actually feel that or can recognize that, that's a very individual characteristic.
So since Dan's in the room, going back to the suit that's on the table.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Trying to type at the same time. Dan, can you give a brief explanation of what Jay is showing right now? Because it might be a little confusing for people out there. What they're looking at, that's not the same as what's standing up in the mannequins behind Jay.
Sure. This.
I'll talk about it. So this is a hot water suit. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Let Dan jump in if I say something wrong, but he's holding the camera. So this is a hot water suit. It's made for commercial divers primarily. And what's the advantage about this is this is crush neoprene, right?
Yeah.
So this is crush neoprene. So this is your CF200. What you have is you've got these little valves or these little hoses. And if I can get to is basically there's a manifold, which is right here, which is attached to the hoses on the inside. What you do is we don't sell the compressors or anything like that, but you're basically hooked up to a hot water pump. So if you're diving in Alaska, Arctic, you're on a commercial diving, you're doing welding and you're very deep and you're down doing welding in colder water, this or that, you're usually down there for a couple hours. Okay. It's not a 20-30 minute dive like we would on a recreational boat. They're actually working down there. So what they'll do is they'll pump hot water down into the suit, and that hot water keeps them warm. It's like being in a jacuzzi. Dick Long was actually cool enough. He let me try one of these on a couple years ago, and I've got a picture of myself sitting in a bucket holding these giant ice cubes. And I got to tell you, I was toasty warm. I felt like I was in a hot tub wearing this, but the water was 32 degrees, and I'm literally holding up with a pair of gloves this huge giant ice cube. And I felt like I was on vacation in a hot tub. So what we do is we pump hot water into the suit, and that's what keeps them warm. And that allows them to work longer hours, especially if they're doing some sort of welding or a pipe, and they're going to be down there for obviously for some amount of time or duration. I'm getting tongue tied a little bit here. So
Right. So the important thing for people to remember is DUI has not just been about dry suits.
Right.
We actually created or innovated a lot of the hot water wetsuit diving back in the 70s for the commercial divers working on the oil platforms and salvage and all that stuff. They were using DUI hot water suits. We actually did make at one point in time all those air compressors or hot water compressors and communication boxes that converted, odd sounding voices from helium to something that people can understand on the surface. So DUI does have a long history in diving and thermal protection. Let's see. So on this suit that shows reflective tape, just to remember that on your premium dry suits, reflective tape is an option to add to your suit. So if you are, for example, an instructor teaching in locations that have low visibility, this reflective tape can help your students or people able to follow you underwater with that reflective tape. Of course, we use that for the public safety suits where visibility is really important. With that, one of the things that I do on my suit is I have a Velcro patch on the shoulder. Actually, it's a pile patch. And I actually attach custom patches to my sleeve to, basically customize my suit daily on each dive. Of course, you can always send in your own personal patch and DUI will sew it into the suit. Okay, so that's all the questions I see for right now. Wait, hang on.
this is a good example of what you were talking about, like a pile. Obviously, we put this on the sleeve or the shoulder.
Right.
Since we've got it, I figured I'd zoom in on it.
So we have a question about putting dry gloves with a ring system to a zip seal. So I assume that this person's asking about a third-party system attaching to our wrist zip seals as they are. You're probably referring to the QB brand. That is a possible item to add to your suit. So you can actually use that with the zip seals. I would suggest that you use the latex version. I know most people that are doing that, they will actually use an older set of seals so they can switch back and forth between a regular wrist zip seal and a wrist seal with the QB ring attached to it. But also note that if this is a system that you're going to use, note that the ring system will go longer than the actual sleeve. So you may want to notify your dive shop or the account manager about this custom option that you're going to add to the suit to make sure that we get the sleeve length to the right length.
Also like to point out, Jack, we don't sell the QB system and we won't
No.
install it. So the dive shop will actually have to do that.
Right. Well, we're talking about the ring system that attaches to the seals, not the attached version. Right. There is an attached version of the QB ring that we will not install on our suits. But I do know that people use the add-on QB ring to the zip seal option. Okay. Other than that, I don't have any questions unless you want to dance around a little bit.
No, nobody wants to see me dance. I promise you that.
But again, please, message your questions if you have any, and we'll go over those. And even if you have them throughout the day, you can ask these questions any point of the day. And If you need to meet with an account manager, we can send you to different breakout rooms with those different account managers that are online most of the day, except for Tor for some reason, who keeps jumping on and off.
Way to call them out.
Yeah, I know, it's okay. I just want everyone to know that at DUI, we're real people, we're divers, and we are very enthused about our products. Let's see. So the question, this maybe is a question maybe for Dan. There's a question is, are we ever going to make a neoprene zip seal for a neoprene version of the zip seal?
That is a very good question. We are not currently looking at doing that. We are currently working on developing new seals that is not silicone and or latex. It's kind of let's say a hybrid of it. That is the one of the things that DUI has been working on developing for the last couple of years to get the perfect compound. So it'll share a lot of the properties of both. We're trying to get the fact that silicone will last a very long time when it comes to ozone and just the atmosphere beating up on latex, while still getting some of the advantage of latex, which is how durable they are. So we've been developing that. That hopefully will come out later this year. We've got some prototype samples that are looking very promising right now. But as for neoprene seals, no, there's nothing in the works for us to work on a neoprene seal.
So just to go back on the Kubi thing real quick, I was just kind of corrected on this. Not an expert on the Kubi stuff, but there's the Kubi standard, and that's attached to the seals. Those will work with our zip seals. There's the fitted system. That's the one that's installed on the dry suit itself, and that's one we do not install on our dry suits. So another question is, can I print my design on our dry suits? So can someone send in or send a custom pattern overlay, I assume, for our dry suits?
At this time, we do not have the capabilities of doing that. The fabric and the patterns that we have are what's on the website. So I think they're talking about like digitally printing a pattern on black or something like that. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah. So I mean, I guess the answer for that in a more elegant way might be that I know that there's digital printing on fabrics out there, but one of the things with our patterns or our material that we use for the dry suits is material that's been tested to withstand salt, water, different environments, and being out in the sun to last longer. And most of those custom one-off printings, they just won't stand up to the same rigors of what our material goes through. Okay, so with that, we have about 10 minutes before our next presentation. So if you guys, it's probably a good time to take a small break, and we'll be back at 11:30 with Doug Graham going over the standard dry suits. So with that, the Zoom presentation will still be live. So please feel free to ask questions. And I'm going to stop the Facebook Live version and switch to, we'll switch to a new stream once that one starts. So thank you, Jay. Thank you, Dan, for jumping in real quickly with that camera. So we will come back shortly.